Hi, everybody. Back again on a Friday evening. It's lovely to see so many new faces and everybody in. It's lovely. Right at the start, I want to say thank you very much to the replay crew that will be watching later. It's really important for me and for the community that you guys also have your say. So leave a comment below. I will come back to you. If you want to watch the live chat back while you're watching this, it takes about 24 hours to upload, but that's an option. So when you play, you can swipe left and then the option to watch the live chat as we are chatting amongst ourselves during the live will be available to watch in time with the video. But do remember to also leave a comment and I will get back to you. That would be great. It's also really, really important that we are growing as a community. That it's the whole purpose of this channel is to bring like-minded people together. I started this channel because none of my family are interested in gardening or farming or small holding. And so this is how I connect with you guys and you guys connect with each other and myself. And it leads to really interesting conversations and I learn a lot from this, and I hope you also do too. So chit chat in the comments. If you do want to ask a question, it's really helpful for me to spot it. If you either write your whole question in capital letters or start with capital QQQ, it's really easy for me then to spot that in the chat. And after saying all that, hello, welcome. It's really nice to see you all here. We are going to be talking, our topic for this week is garden disasters and garden rescue if your season isn't going as well as you had hoped. But before I do that, I just want to mention, let's take that one down for a moment. I want to mention tomorrow evening, I am on the Urban Gardener channel chatting with Jay Dixon, the J-Bot, who was in the chat on Kirsty's live earlier, is also the moderator on this channel and show facilitator. It would be wonderful if you guys are about tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time. So the Urban Gardener live stream, I will be there. Right at the beginning of the show, we always say a great big thank you to Jay Dixon for facilitating. She goes way beyond moderating. She promotes everybody's channel. She keeps the chat alive. And she is just generally our resident J-Pop genius. I want to shout out everybody that's here. We've got some new faces that notably have come across from Kirsty and Dean's live earlier. So thank you very much. One of those is Fairbrick Studio. Hi, nice to see you in. It's great to see you. And also that is Foraging Urban Farming as well. So nice to see you here for the first time. I've seen you comment on Kirsty and Dean's videos before. And Jay, as always, can't wait for another live. Thank you. I've seen, and of course Kirsty's already had a very busy evening, but she's here as well. Thank you, Kirsty. And also down home, backyard gardening. Hi, nice to see you in also. Yeah, I've already put in several typos today. Phone big, the keyboard's just too small on phones. It's not fair. And yes, I would like to say, if you haven't seen Kirsty and Dean's channel, they are Heart's Humble Homestead. Pop across to see them. They've just had their first ever live, and it was brilliant. It was really, really good. Very enthusiastic, professional, full of character. So it's really, really, it's really worth going and taking a look if you haven't seen it already. And Adri's in. Hi, Adri, from Adri's Farmhouse Kitchen as well. Nice to see you in. So there we are, all caught up on the comments. I will pop back in later on But we are on to garden rescue. And garden disasters come in all shapes and sizes. Now, gardens they can come in all shapes and sizes. I think I'm doing really well in my garden this year, but I had a really good evaluation, and there are certainly spots on my garden I'm thinking that's not going according to plan. And there's a sliding scale. I've had years where there have been just because I live on the coast or near the coast, and I've had 100-mile-an-hour winds, which we had through the winter, and just everything that was standing is now laying flat on the ground. And so that's like a complete disaster. It takes out the whole garden. But quite often we have just problem areas within our gardens. And I think I've got one of my problem areas. So this, I think, is quite a nice stand of rhubarb. But what you can see all around my path that was barked, I haven't been able to get more bark chips for the path. And this couch grass has come up all through the path. But this is that horrible wandering couch grass that gets into everything. So I've had to stay on top of that. I've mulched with the old rhubarb leaves that I've picked as well. So it's even in a garden that you think is going really, really well, there are corners and spots in your garden where there are problems. So pop in the comments if you've had any garden disasters, anything that's gone wrong in your garden this year that needs a little bit of recovery and thought. Pop it in the comments and hopefully we can help out with some ideas. So some of the things that I've struggled with this year have been pests and critters. I am in the open countryside, so regularly get the pheasant come through, and they have eaten some crops that I've always come to rely on in the back garden, but the pheasants are just swarming and eating everything. I have deer. There are foxes and badgers and bunny rabbits. So the actual critters part of my pests are for me the worst, but there are also still the slugs and the aphids and all the regular cabbage white butterflies and all those pests as well. So those can be something quite destructive. Predominantly here we have high winds, but weather can also cause a disaster in your garden. And this one, I think a lot of people will empathize with families and work and busy lives. Time, just sometimes the time gets away from you. There just isn't enough hours in the day to stay on top of everything you plan to do. It's not Thatcher's, it's just a free glass I got from the pub. It's apple juice and water. It would be nice if it were Thatcher's. It's Thatcher's pre-brewing. And again, weeds, pervasive weeds, the bindweeds, the couch grass, the dandelions, the creeping buttercups, that they can cause a bit of disaster. Poor seedling care, that can also add disaster. Any comments about disasters you've had? I'm going to have a quick pop and look in the chat to see if we've got any there. Oh, hi, we've got some more people in. So we have Robbie Gardens from Chicagoland. Hi, Robin, nice to see you in. And we have Shane from Farmall and Fords. And Shane's channel, because he doesn't get the chance to pop in, he's a very busy chap. So when he does, Shane renovates old farm machinery. I say old, vintage farm machinery. Reconditions it and uses it. So small tractors, tillers. I really like his corn shucker he did last autumn. Lots of other bits of equipment. It's a really interesting channel. And Andrea made some rhubarb. Oh no. The rhubarb I grew is a family heirloom. So maybe at some point, Adri, I can give you a piece of the rhubarb. I can dig it up and split a bit off and post it to you or something. But the rhubarb was my great-grandfather's, and a piece got passed on to my grandfather, a piece got passed on to my dad, and my dad passed away in 2009. But while he was poorly and I was nursing him, he was like, I know the house is going to go. I know your mum, because they had a 5-bedroom farm house. Is your mum can't keep it, I know that, so dig the rhubarb up, take some rhubarb with you, which I did, so I've still got that rhubarb, so that's quite precious to me. Yeah, that's another consequence of the hot weather we've been having. So weather is and I also have overseeded some different things. That has been a bit of a disaster for me. Not that too much grew, but that it was really hard to tell when things would see things what they were. And I did pull out some pesky grass, turned out to be onions, which was not optimal. Yes, it is all trial and error. Oh no! So Adri's saying her new greenhouse got smashed and landed in my pepper plants. What sort of disasters over here? Oh yeah, not sure of disasters. Oh, you only just got, is that your new greenhouse? Yep. And again, failures are learning. Absolutely. Right. And now I can't remember where I got to. We talked about, yes, watering as well. And again, that can be all sorts of different things. It can be inexperienced watering at the wrong time of day, in the heat and stressing your plants out. It could be over watering because, water equals growth. And again, if you're a new gardener, you may be waterlogging or over watering plants, watering in the wrong way. So, we know our tomato plants suffer blight, and keeping the leaves dry is really important to keep that at bay. Please excuse me, my hay fever is bad and it makes my throat sore, so I'm trying to sip. Lots of things get mildewy, our squash plants and things like that, so we want to be watering in the right way. Other things can cause disaster are container plants, so we can underestimate the size of the container we need, and that can stress plants out. And even the neatest of gardens has problems. So I've yet to meet a gardener, and they've come and have a look at my garden. I've yet to meet a gardener that doesn't apologise for one bit, like, please don't look there, or I'm sorry about this, or I haven't had time. So there's always a problem hotspot, and even experienced gardeners have disasters too. It doesn't matter how long you garden. And again, a garden disaster or a problem in the garden is just a learning experience. Somebody said to me, can you explain that? Because isn't it, great if everything grows? I went, yes, but if you grow carrots and you sow the seeds and they grow, you just grown carrots. You knew how to grow carrots the year before. If you grow your carrots and something goes wrong and you have to start again, you have to work out what the problem was, and then you learn something. You learn a new way to avoid carrot fly or over sowing or whatever the problem was, or soil preparation if you put them into hard clay. Or so that's, it's just a learning opportunity really, which is just why I've learned a lot this year. But it's been a big steep learning curve this year. So then we have to think about what are the steps to recovery. We start with assessment. What was the problem? What caused the problem? What can we do about that? I've got a picture here I'm going to add to the stage. So this is one of the problem spots. Now you might look at that and go, but that's all chopped up clover, Joe. That's really good. That's a cover crop. That's amazing. I should have taken the photo before, when among the cover crop were some really deep-rooted thistles and dandelions in there, but I had already, before I thought to take the photo, gone in there with my hori knife to get down really deep into the roots, get down there and get as much of that root out as I possibly could. So I assessed this and I went, the cover crop's worked. I can utilize the cover crop. So I'll chop and drop that. But before I can utilize that really well, I have to remove these deep tap-rooted plants. And then my assessment was, I do want to keep the clover on there and get that nutrition going back into the soil. but there are enough little bits of root left that I need to suppress any weeds that are left. And so my solution to that, as you can see, is the cardboard, and I shall just pop that one there. So it's another layer of cardboard and another layer of compost. So I decided to scrap the fact that I did this last year and then put a cover crop in for the winter. So I had to scrap that all together and just repeat that process to reclaim this bed from the weeds that had got in there too much. That was my assessment of that area. Just going to check on the chat again because the number goes up for how many comments and I panic that I'm missing too much. So Shane's been grinding grain today. Is that for chicken feed, Shane, or is that for flour feed you use in the house? Because I know you've got your chicken meal grinder as well, haven't you? Oh no, Adri, it is your new greenhouse that broke. Oh no. And Robin had some lunch in between the two live shows. Adri's recovering from the broken glass. Yeah, that's. I think here I'd be worried about having glass in a glass house. Hi, Dusty. Nice to see you in. Nice to see you in. We're talking about garden recovery now. What to do. Thank you. I like compliments on my compost. I would like to say, oh, this is compost I made, but it was delivered and I was very lucky this year. It's one of the reasons I decided to take this route is because I have 15 tons delivered and a great big lorry. So I've got, at the moment, got plenty. So I will be using that. And Shane's answered and said he's grinding cornmeal for grits and flour, which is, again, another one of the machines that he's refurbished on his channel. So back to the banners again. So that was my assessment of that, but there are different things. So what else could you do in the situation where you've just got a wild and overgrown piece of land? Running animals over it is a really great way to start. I'm lucky in the fact that I have pigs and chickens and sheep. I would like to add goats to that soon, and that gives me different options. So for a single bed like that, I'd probably put a net round and some chickens in there, but if it's a larger garden area, I would just let the pigs in there to rotate it. That would be one of the things I would do. The cardboard and compost is another way, and I'm going to share my screen because I tried to put this photo up and it would not allow me to put it up. It would not. It was being quite mean. So these are two methods. This is, let's see if I can. I've got to add it somewhere. There it is. There, add to the stage. So there. So one of the things you can do if you've got a really wild area. So this isn't actually a vegetable bed. It's next to where my potatoes, first early potatoes came out, and my sweet potato slips are now under that tunnel. And I know you wouldn't normally net them, but the pheasants really enjoy the flavour of my sweet potatoes. But this was growing up really wild, and the grass there is quite seedy, and I didn't want grass seed in on my bed, so I covered it in black plastic. So that is one option that you can use. The other option, which is by far my favourite, can I change that? No, I have to stop sharing that. That's great. I think that's that one. There we go. Right. I have to share again to show you the next one. Window. And So by far, this is my favourite way to recover, and that would be to put in a cover crop. If you're holding a spot and you don't have the time, you've got poor soil, putting in a cover crop, and that particular one is Phacelia, and there is some vetch growing through it, but it doesn't show up very well on the photo. So that by far is one of my favourite methods of recovery. So that's the one. So it's covering weeds. If your problem has been something else, you need to, in your assessment, you need to work out what the problem is. So, for instance, if it's something like watering, you need to ascertain too much, too little, wrong time, wrong method, and fix that. And again, if it's something like critters, you have to ascertain which pests they are and what the remedy action for that would be. So it might be nematodes, things like slugs. It might be barriers. It might be netting for cabbage white. It might be something more defensible for pheasant and for rabbits. I find the pheasants are so pervasive, they will crawl under nets, and the only way I can keep the pheasants off is to grow things separately that they prefer, and that draws them away. And eventually, at some point in the year, there is so much they will be drawn to that. And that's one of the methods I use. So basically, we have to assess. We have to work out what the problem is, and solve that problem before we move on. And then nourishing the soil. And I've spoken about that a little bit in that I put compost down or a cover crop, a chop and drop, all different ways to nourish the soil and put in place our mitigations. Let's have a quick look at the chat. See. Squirrels are garden jerks. They go out to pick the strawberries. They are. I'm lucky because I've got such a diverse hedgerow. They spend most of their time there. I do have squirrels too. I don't get very many hazelnuts. I must have about 200 or 300 hazelnut trees, and I can get them if I'm quick enough. But if I blink and miss the ripe phase, then I don't get any. But the upside of that is they don't eat any strawberries. They leave that all for the pheasants. Fireworks allowed here in Texas. Oh yes, 4th of July tomorrow. We have our bonfire night, celebration of Guy Fawkes night and his conviction and subsequent execution. But people here get really excited and they start setting off fireworks like weeks before and weeks afterwards. I don't know if you have that thing where people celebrate a bit early. And, in the Houston area. So even if it's banned, people will still set them off. That happens. Scroll down through the chit chat. Yeah, firework bans don't mean a lot. Banned here in Illinois. Yeah, we have a lot. We had a problem here last Guy Fawkes because people can set them off in their gardens, but people took them into the local park and were setting them off, and it's meant to be like a nature reserve type area. So there are lots of there's a river running through, so lots of river voles and endangered species in there. So it's a bit of a problem. There's another squirrels. Squirrels should be considered edible garden friends. I think you can eat them in the UK. I don't know that many people do. Thank you, Jay's given a bit more information about the gunpowder plot of 1605, if anyone's interested. I don't like fireworks. They are too noisy. They scare too many people and they leave nasty pollution. I'm not very keen on fireworks, to be fair. Not keen at all. So one of the other garden disasters you can have is just being terribly disorganized. Robin Gardens will be really impressed. I wrote my little jack-o'-lantern thing. Still haven't opened seed packet, so it's a bit late for those this year, but you know, I might be ahead of myself for next year. You never know. So that's one of my garden disasters. One of the other garden disasters I was very excited. I had two types of corn. I had one that's a rainbow coloured corn. It's a heirloom variety. It's hoping to save the seed. I was really excited. Got two completely separate patches for my corn, and the pheasant found both of them. One of them I sowed with cover crop to disguise the corn, and it usually works really well for me. I've never had a problem before, but I usually use Vicelia, and although that was in the mix, it was predominantly buckwheat and it didn't work nearly as well. What I should have done as well is planted the cover crop and let it germinate so the smells were there, and then put the corn in. But I put the corn plants in and sowed around it, and the pheasant found it before the cover crop grew. I've re-sowed 2 or 3 times, so I'm going to find a completely new spot where there hasn't been any corn before, and I'm going to plant again. This will be fifth sowing of corn, but you can cheat. If all else fails, you can go and buy a nice tray of corn plants. So these have just come from the shop next door. These ones are early bird. They're looking a bit past it, so I got them reduced. But if all else fails, you know, one of the things you can do to get a crop is buy-in starts. I don't think there's any shame in that. Mostly, for me, I sow seeds and direct sow. I do start some things off, but direct sowing is definitely buying starts is definitely something that can happen. If you are thinking, gosh, but everything should have gone in March and April, maybe May, but we're too late. You do have to think about what you're going to put in. So you're looking primarily for your shorter season crops. I'm sorry if I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but it's always good. It'd be great to hear in the comments what you would sow now if you had a disaster and lost an entire bed of something. What would you put in now to fill that space quickly and get a harvest from a bed? So some of the things you put in there, some of them aren't suitable all over the place. So here in the UK, if we find a shady spot or a spot that doesn't have sun all day, it's still possible for us to sow carrots and peas, although I'm giving those a rest. I'm going to put some in later on in the season, so in the autumn, because I have lots of carrots at the moment that are already growing. And the leeks, although you might get some small leeks at the end of the year, they'll harvest right through the winter and again in the spring. So that's something. And spinach also is a cooler weather crop. So if you're in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, I don't know what that would be in Celsius, probably kind of the high 20s, early 30s, that sort of temperature. You're not going to get a lot of joy with carrot, spinach, and lettuce and peas and things. But we here in the UK can manage those still. But things grow quickly. Squash grow quickly, particularly the summer squash. You can still get beans in. The pole beans might be a little late. You might get a late harvest, but the French beans certainly would. Radish are brilliant to sow in. They pop up and you can harvest those while you're waiting for everything else. Beetroot is about an 8-week turnaround for us here. Corn is just right on the cusp. We can put corn in. I've chosen to go with starts just in case, because I'm really struggling with those. Fifth time this time. Herbs are always great. And again, I was watching Robin Gardens, and she bought basil from the supermarket, and she split it all apart and she put that in, and that's worked really well for Robin. I do that a lot with chives as well. So if you're really behind and you really want to get something going, have a look what your supermarket is growing in pots, like potted herbs for the kitchen, because they will transplant outside mostly. It's worth giving it a go. It tends to be a much cheaper way to buy plant starts as well. And they always pack so many seeds into those pots. You've got so many starts for such a cheap price. I put brassica in there, and people are going, well, you don't have time to grow a cabbage, Jo. You don't. But you can plant things like the all year round cauliflower, as long as you protect them from the cabbage moth, or the cabbage white, we call it here. You can also plant brassica for just the greens. You don't have to have a hearty cabbage. You can use the leaves. You can grow kale, which will grow really quickly and will also give you a harvest through the autumn, possibly into the winter, depending on your weather. Napa cabbage grows very, very quickly, and any of the Chinese cabbages and pak choi grow very, very quickly. What else I've put there? I've put on turnips. I'm always sowing. Even if things haven't gone wrong, I literally sowed turnips yesterday. So what I tend to do is every time I have a harvest, once or twice a week, I'll go and do a big harvest and get some big crates of vegetables. And then I will think, okay, I need to resow that many plants now. Now I've started, I've taken out 2 or 3 rows. I need to put 2 or 3 rows in, so that when I get to this time in 6, 8, 10 weeks and I'm harvesting, I've got the same amount to harvest again. So beetroot, turnips and carrots went in the other day, along with some more herbs. Yeah, so that's me. Going back to the comments to see what we've got. Robson. Let's scroll back to see where we've got to. We got there. It happens. It was late for the fennel, but I got them in morning at last. Yeah. Getting the plants in. I'm looking at my balcony, which is my nursery. I've got things out there that should have gone out ages ago. I've still got things like some dahlias in pots and peppers that actually had peppers on the plants that I just sat there waiting to go out of the farm. But I'm reticent to put them out because everything I've put there, I've got stalks. I've got a lovely top, and then I've got about 18 inches of just stem, and that's because, who knew, pheasants really enjoy the leaves on peppers, so they seem to enjoy everything. Hi, good evening, Rob. Nice to have you here. We're talking about garden disasters. Talking of gardens, not disasters, it's an inquiry. How's your garden since you come back from holiday? Because I haven't heard from you. Yes, corn shades and competes with stuff. I know this now. Yeah, corn can. I last year put my corn in. It was undersown with. It was actually in that bed that was on the picture with the clover. I undersowed it with clover, which seeded and has come back this year, and I thought, perfect, I didn't have to plant that cover crop. That's brilliant. But next to it, I put in my pumpkin plants, and the pumpkins, they run their leaves all under and through that clover as well, and it was amazing. It worked so well. I know there's like the Three Sisters with the squash running through, and I don't think that would have worked. I think it would have been too shaded, but there was enough room where it, instead of spilling onto pathways and everywhere, it ran down through the corn. And notably, there weren't any pumpkins grown in under the shady bit, but lots of leaves, which was great for ground cover. It was great, took over from the clover when the clover got a little bit thin after it had flowered. But that worked really well. Adri's also having trouble with corn. My corn has grown really well. I put out really strong corn when I first grew it. But it just obviously is tasty to too many things. None of the direct sown stuff came up, but I think that's because the pheasant got in. I netted it with a hoop the first time, and the pheasants wriggled in under the edge, and I thought, right, I'm gonna get this until it germinates. I'm gonna peg it down flat so there's nowhere to get in. And I pegged it about 12 inches apart all the way down, and it was flat and it was tight. And I turned up and there were like 3 female pheasants that had wriggled under, and they were laying on their side with their wings out like this. I couldn't believe it. And they were wriggling across, and as they were going, they were filtering the soil with their beak and taking out all the seeds. And I was like, I can't believe it. They have no space there. They are completely pinned down. But they were still wriggling in. So very irritating. I did great corn, only my second time, but first success. Brilliant. Fantastic. It's always good when you get your first corn and you realize you can do it. It's great. Jay's starting to put up, or has been putting up, people's links to the channels. So if you have a channel and yours hasn't been popped up yet, have just nudge Jay to say, hey, can you put mine up, please? Tip: seek out seed starting chart and your location to see what's possible to plant at various times of the year. Again, absolutely, because everybody's in different climates. We have people from all over, so yeah, definitely check out. And also YouTubers that are local to you, they quite often put out this is what I'm sowing now videos, so that's worth looking out for as well. And the weather forecast, that's been, wow, 137 Celsius here. I don't think here we touched that. We got up to about 35 on a couple of days. And yeah, Robin's saying she lost a whole bed of melon late to cucumber beetles. Carrie Wilk taught me a lesson to keep cover crop stash of seeds on hand for such occasions. Yes, absolutely. Just want something that's if you're growing something really big like a melon patch, you've got quite a lot of space allocated to that. If you lose something that is that big a bed, it then leaves a great big hole. But keep some cover crop seeds on hand, and throw in. I would be tempted to get, because you must have some, Robin, to like make a mix of wildflower seeds, like a summer mix, and throw them in and see what comes up. I might be tempted to do that and use that as a cover crop, but a pretty one, maybe. Wondering when to plant my fall corn. I don't know. I don't know which area you're in. I'm assuming because you said fall rather than autumn that you must be in the States. But which zone you are. The person who would be able to tell you a lot about when to plant your fall corn would be Shane from Farmwell and Fords, because his corn always comes out amazingly. I don't know if you're still here, Shane, but if you are, but yeah, also let us know. There's another, Copenhagen short season cabbage. That's another option. Yeah, and getting more variety in each veg bed. So that's something I'm trying experimenting with this year. I should pop up on my, so this is my annual vegetable bed. I'm sorry, I have not cut the grass recently in the pathways. There isn't meant to be grass in the pathways, but it started growing. I went, hey, roll with it, because I don't have time to take it out, cover it, and wood chip it at the moment. So this bed on this side that I've got my cursor on was my chaos bed, and there's calendula and radish and turnip, beetroot, chard, kale. There's all sorts in there. And basically that entire bed, I dibbed hundreds of holes all over it. It's about 12 meters long and it's a meter wide. Dipped holes all over it, about 200, and went round my seed packet and just randomly went, right, a couple of those seeds, pop them in there, cover the hole, next hole, pop some different seeds in there, next hole, spring onions, it's random. And at the back of that, my mange two peas are my like sugar snap peas are in there as well. I changed that tactic a little bit because actually it's really hard to harvest. Everything grew up so closely together. I've missed a few things have gone to seed, although notably radishes and seed pods and radishes are super yummy. So I've left those in there, and I'm snacking them as much as the peas because they're just like crunchy and peppery and fresh. They're delightful. I love those. So I'm leaving them in there for snacking. I did think, I'll let them go to seed and let them reseed. But to be fair, most of the seeds pods have been eaten. So it's just a different type of harvest I'm getting from those. Again, I pulled up what I thought were grass weedlings and turned out to be my spring onions or my chives or something oniony. I didn't realise until too late. So this is my chaos bed. Actually, what I've started doing is sowing from this side across this way. So my rows of things are 1 meter across, and they alternate. So this bed is a bit different. So that's my comfrey at the end to hold back the bed. I have put like short rows of carrots, and then there's a couple of chard and some red cabbage, and then some more carrots further down. And that way, and then the onions just got put in where they got put in, because that's as far as I got in making. This is a brand new garden this year, so that's as far as I got when I needed to get the onion sets in. All the tomatoes are here, which isn't it's a bit monoculture. They are interplanted with leeks, so I direct sowed some leeks in there. But the reason they're a bit monoculture is because that's the trellis I put up for the tomatoes. That's how I'm doing it this year. I had that many varieties and I didn't have enough materials to make individual trellises for them. So on this bed, which you can't quite see, the rows are 1 meter long and they run across the width of the bed instead of length, and they alternate. And I tried to do something like a chard and then a carrot and then dill and then maybe turnip and then radish and then a bit of lettuce. So everything alternates. So I haven't got chard and beetroot together because of the same family. I haven't got the perpetual spinach next to the chard or the beetroot. So everything has got a different crop in between. It's a smaller amounts and they're repeated down the row. And the idea of that is to have more of a polyculture. But the chaos bed, the complete chaos bed, is very hard to harvest, very hard to spot when things are ready. So that's why I did that way. Yeah. I'm a very frugal person as well. A suggestion here. So Dusty's saying I grew Chinese cabbage, granult or something, and I think I was expecting a Napa cabbage. Not sure what to do with it. Okay, Chinese cabbage. Oh, I'm thinking that needs a bit of research. If Shawnee were here, she'd have a recipe in her head already. Yeah. I like bok choy cabbage so much. Yeah, Nadri's saying she's still got more to sow too. I'm just every single week I'm sowing something. Every single week I'm making my harvest day, my sowing day. So something comes out, something goes in. I don't want the bare soil. I don't want the sun directly on the soil. I want roots in there for the bio or the, you know what I mean, the soil microbes to stay healthy. I don't want time for the weeds to move in. So yeah. Jay's got there. Frugality allows for more room in the budget for good, bad needs for your money. Also allows me more freedom to be debt-free and more time for charitable efforts. And that is very true. That is so true. It's always good to be frugal. Rob's replying because I asked him how his garden was going because he's been away for a while. His mate looks after it while I'm away, so it's not too bad. I always get nervous when somebody else is looking after my garden because it's not me. Naughty pigeons. Yes, pigeons are a nightmare too. Something is moving my garden tags around too. I found my my bay tree tag right down by the rhubarb. It's about 5 meters away from where I left it, and I'm like, So something is playing around with my labels. Oh, hi Enoch. Nice to see you in. Nice to see you in. I've got that. Also, just try some seedling plants outside the guidelines. It might just work unless the seed was pricey. Yeah, try things outside the recommendations. I tend to start sowing because you get a packet of seeds, and something like carrot seeds, you get something like 1,000 seeds. You're never going to grow 1,000 carrots. Well, you might grow 1,000 carrots, I guess. You get so many more than you actually need usually. So if it says sow from, I don't know, end of March, April time, I put some in right at the beginning of March, and I keep going, and I sow every I sow every week, but I probably sow carrots once a fortnight, once a month, and just keep sowing. And somebody, it was Stella, growing with Stella, was saying that she thought she got her time right and she might just start later. And I was explaining to her, as direct sowing, I go right through and I just accept that I'm sowing every fortnight. The reason for that is our weather is so variable at the moment that you don't know what you're going to get. It warms up early or it cools down. You get a late frost. And so you might think, gosh, I got to sow later. But actually, some years it's warm and mild and things get growing. And then, as last year, we hit a really severe drought quite early. Well, the things that have been sown early last year do well because they've got the roots down there established and are doing really, really well. And they will be your best plants of the year. If you leave it too late, if you left it until, May, the end of May last year, you'd have struggled without using a lot of water to get things started, and you'd have never got carrots. My second, third, and fourth sowings of carrots didn't go anywhere last year. The only ones that made it were my first sowing that I did very late in March. So in last year, if I hadn't sown early, I wouldn't have got nearly as many crops. This year, yes, my first and second sowing of carrots didn't go so well, and I've got plenty of carrots now. But this year's weather has been very different. We had some later cold weather, and so that worked for me. So just don't worry about the guidelines are there, and they're great guidelines. But don't be afraid to plant a couple of weeks early and go a bit later if it's still working. And there are lots of things, carrots, leeks, sometimes beetroot, although it doesn't work as well, that I sow really late. So even as late as end of September, beginning of October, and those get harvested in the spring. Nobody else is sowing carrots in October that I know. I lie. I know Adri has because she's just harvested them. So for Adri's Farmhouse Kitchen, but not many people think to sow a carrot in September or October, but I do. So that's yes. And Jay has popped up the Urban Gardener live. So it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the UK. That is 7 p.m. I will be having a conversation with Jay live tomorrow night. And the Urban Gardeners every Saturday, every Sunday at 7 p.m. So lots of interesting shows on there, not just that one. So do look in and see that. Would it be taunting to start the squirrel jokes? Might be a bit cruel. It might be a bit cruel. Pricey seeds. Seed prices are exorbitant. Sometimes you look at them, and I look at seed packets, and they can be £8, £9, £10 a pack. To be fair, they are the more specialised things. Yeah, gas blaster, but it upset the other animals. It would. Good news, I have found 2 people, not just one, but 2 people who actually enjoy pheasant meat. And they both own guns, and they both have their shooting licenses, and they both have agreed to come to my farm next year when it's pheasant season and shoot them for me. So maybe, and ironically, one of them is the father of the gamekeeper who runs the game farm on the other side of the valley that keeps shooing them my way. So his dad's going to come and shoot them back. Yeah, we have pecan trees and big oaks, and our squirrels are insane. Yeah. Oh, hi, Jason. Nice to see you. I don't know what squirrels taste like. I haven't tried one. It's not something I want to. Squirrels aren't my problem. It's a pheasant. Foraging urban gardens say they make a lovely broth. I'll take your word for it. It's not something I fancy. The idea. Dave is always talking about the pepper eating contest last September. There's going to be a replay of that. I don't know when that's going to be, Jason, but yeah, pop it in the chat if you've got any dates yet for any of your chili eating challenges. Jason does the chili eating challenges with multiple people, multiple victims, and they feature on his channel quite often. So worth going to check that out. I don't know if he's any upcoming. I'm guessing it will be coming up when the chilies are actually ripe, which won't be too long, I wouldn't have thought. We'll be there before we know it. And he would always welcome people to come over to his channel and watch. Yeah. Seriously, Dave did look very peaky last time he ate the chili challenge. He's going for a hotter one this year, and I've oh gosh, just lost where I am. There we are. Yeah. And you said that in your last video, or was it on Roots and Rambles when you were talking with Shawnee? It might have been on there. You're saying that you spent a lot of money on your tomato seed that you really wanted to get. I think you mentioned it on your Roots and Rambles with Shawnee and in your video actually. But then you also go to the big box stores to get the cheaper, run of the mill, like the lots of seeds. Thank you very much. This is the annual garden. It's literally just started this year. It's a bit wild there. I need to tame it a bit more. Yeah, a bit wild. Yeah. The trouble with David, I don't like talking about him, he's not here, is he's so enthusiastic, he will try something and realise it was a bad idea a bit too late. I do hope that he doesn't do anything too silly this year. So the warthog chili is the hottest thing around at the moment. His look really hot, yeah. That foraging urban farm survived a couple of reaper peppers, but we eat peppers a lot. Yeah. And yes, Jason has been clearing out his wife's plot. And yeah, the polytide's looking good. And he's planted it up with tomatoes and all sorts in there. So it's looking good. Yeah, talking about chilies here. Kimchi. I'm assuming that's an answer to a question somewhere. I'm experimenting with fermenting this year as well. I've got a mixed jar of everything to just try it, but I think the kale in there probably has spoilt it a bit. It's not going as well as I'd hoped. I have a whole jar of chard because if that goes well, I've got so much chard. I would like to be able to have some crunchy for the winter. And the other thing I really want to do, we've eaten most of the sugar snap peas, but I was bringing home a litre box of them every day for about a month. We're a bit fed up with them. So I've tried some of those as a ferment. If that works, that'd be great, because the trouble with sugar snap peas, you can't freeze them because the pods go all floppy and they just don't freeze well. So I'm hoping that those work out. But won't it be nice if in the winter you've got some nice crunchy chard and you've got some nice crunchy sugar snap peas with that lovely fermented taste too? I'm still talking about really hot. Now, there's a question. I haven't actually had a conversation with Jason. Pop him on the spot. But who would like Jason to come back to talk about his chilies again later on? Vote for if you want to. Pop it in the comments and I'll have a chat with Jason and ask him if he would like to come back again. He did say he was up for a second visit. I love going super hot, but I will never eat one. Who do you feed them to then? Who do you give those to then if you're not eating them? Because I keep saying, oh no, I don't eat hot chilies. I was thinking about it. I do, but I prepare them. I put them into things so like it's a very small amount of chili that I'm using in recipes. I don't. But yeah, so Robin doesn't grow parsnips anymore. Won't buy in shops if they have foliage attached. Right now I have wild stuff in the black. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Wild stuff in the back flower garden. Alan will just have to get it out for me. Okay. Fair enough. I like parsnips. I feel really upset that none of them germinated, and yay, we've been talking about you, David. We've been talking about, because Jason joined, about your eating chilies and saying about how worried we were about you last time and hoping you don't do yourself a mischief this year. So tomatoes are producing already. I've got flowers. I know lots of people in the UK have got tomato fruit that are green, but I'm a little bit habanero level is about the highest I've done. Yeah, as a chili to eat whole, I'm very much a jalapeno girl, but I do use hotter peppers in cooking sauces, especially for a hot, sticky, sweet chicken sauce. Love pheasant. Oh, if I can get somebody to shoot some, maybe I'll bag you a couple. Not quite sure how I'll get them to you, but not sure how I'll get them to you, but yeah. I found it wasn't so much the flavour, because I quite like game. I like I like the deer meat, the venison, but I couldn't get the texture right. Maybe it's probably something to do with the hanging or the cooking or something like that. I only had it once and we decided not to again. Are you, Jason, already talking about your next one? Dead man walking. Somebody's tried squirrel. So we had once or twice had squirrel in my youth, but it can be tough. I'm concerned about parasites, especially now as an alert is out for humans contracting parasites in many states. I wonder if you did like a really long, slow cook, whether that would help. I don't know. think that will get most parasites, but the idea isn't appealing, is it, to have? So you've got your doctor, on-staff doctor, taking blood pressure and EKG during the pepper eating video. Doing it twice this year. Goodness me, excuse me, I've got hiccups. Tomorrow, 10 Eastern Standard Time, Boto Life in Garden, Small Town America at its best, 4th Golf Cup Parade live. So if that's 10 a.m., is that mid-afternoon for us? So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe. If somebody can do the conversion on that, I think that's 3 o'clock UK time. Warned people to wash produce very well. Because where are they getting this produce store? You can get things from the. Your ears were burning. We were talking about you. We were talking about you. Now I made the mistake. So I followed a kimchi recipe and I put fish in it because it went, no, honestly, it doesn't taste like fish. It's nice. And no, it was, no. I'm sticking to krauts and just straightforward vegetables this time. And then I might add more nuanced recipes once I've got the hang of it. Road trip. Ooh. Fermented hot sauce. You'll have to make a video on that, Adri. I think we'll all be interested in. We all make hot sauce, but fermented hot sauce sounds nice. Padron peppers are great on the barbecue. I imagine that, the sweet, smoky taste. Yes. Cyclospora. I can't say that. Cyclosporiasis, maybe, where the parasite come from. Many states from the eastern Midwest are affected. Yeah. So that puts you off having a fresh leaf salad. That's a shame because I'm one of these people that wander through the garden and pick things straight from the bush and eating it, and that would scare me because I wouldn't want to get a parasite from. Yeah. So if you're going to eat squirrel meat, there you go. Make sure it has an internal temperature of 71 degrees Celsius because squirrel is lean. It's best prepared using slow, moist heat. Yeah. So I would be prepared, tempted to prepare it by putting it in a big cast iron skillet, pop it in with some hot water, cook it as it falls off its bones, and then throw in some onions and it's a pot full of stuff, I think would be how I cook it. And I just leave it long and slow. I think that may have been what went wrong last time I cooked pheasant. Although it would be more likely pheasant that I would try than squirrel, to be fair. Hi, Shawnee. Nice you're here listening in. We're just going through all the chat. I am going to go in a minute because I have talked too long. I've just got, the chat is so good. There's someone in the UK who's been given license to breed guinea pigs for food. That's I think that would be harder for me than doing chickens. I think, yeah, I don't think I could do guinea pigs. And Sean's in. Hi, Sean. Hi, everyone. Just up for the gardens. Onion sets are dropping with oh, is that botrytis? Oh, see now that this is a question for Sean or anybody really. You can see my onions there. They still look that upright. That photo was taken about 2 days ago. And I have no sign of any disease on them. And I do know that Pete, who is up the road from me, has had some rot on his onions, and they are a good sized bulb. Do I pull them now and dry them, or do I risk it and leave them to bulb up some more? Because we have just had the solstice about 10 days ago, maybe a bit more than that. Do I pull up my onions and go, they've grown, they're a good size onion, they're fine, or do I just keep them growing on a bit longer? Votes in answers in the chat, because I keep umming and ahhing over what I should do. And Shawnee's waving at Kirsty at Heart's Humble Homestead. Oh, okay. So for Adri, if anyone, last year she made the video for fermented hot sauce, so I can go back and check that out. So anybody else that's interested, that's there. Thank you, Adri, for letting me know. And she's going to make a new vlog for having amazing chili pepper. Yeah, I would have amazing chili pepper this year if I didn't have pheasants eating them. Oh, and Jason also has, I saw your hot sauce recipes. I didn't see the fermented ones. So yeah, Jason also has fermented hot sauce peppers. So if you're interested in fermenting chili peppers, go and have a look at that. Okay, so not 3 p.m, you'll miss it. So if you want to watch Dave's live stream tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time, double check by clicking on the event on the YouTube, and it has your time in there. So if you schedule it and put a remind me, it'll, wherever you are, it'll buzz at the time it goes off. Yeah, I should just say, I'm watching from Cornwall, UK. I think it's just you and me in Cornwall now. Rob's gone home. Pete's not on tonight. Talking about the weather. I'm going to wrap it up. There's every time I go, I'm going to wrap it up. There is more chat. Nice to see you in. So if everyone wants to say their final goodbyes, I will look through the chat later. But I don't want to overrun too long because we have been chit-chatting. I have to let you know there is no live stream next week. Also, I take that picture down. There we go. No live stream next week. I've got to work, but there should be a live stream the week following. So it's a fortnight till the next live stream. You can see me again tomorrow live on the Urban Gardener channel at 7 p.m. UK time. And I hope to see you guys all there. Thank you ever so much for joining me. It's been such a live chat. I dropped my actual content in the end. Decided to just read the chat. It's been brilliant. So thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Bye now.